Today we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can breathe your way into relaxation, literally taking away stress and anxiety almost instantly. Hi, Sasha here. I am on a mission to help people who suffer from chronic stress and anxiety be able to reduce and sometimes completely eliminate it using various techniques and education so you know what's happening in your body so that you can create bliss, joy, and happiness on a daily basis and make happiness your new daily norm. First, let's talk about why it's important to actually breathe. First and foremost, if you are suffering from chronic stress and chronic anxiety, and that may be actually heading into either early onset depression or that you just can't calm your reactive mind, the reason why you want to get a hold of that is because chronic stress in general, your body doesn't know the difference between happy stress, like your kid's birthday party, or getting laid off stress. So if you're suffering from stress, your body, irregardless of the happy thoughts or the low thoughts, your body sees stress the same way. When you have chronic stress, you're actually creating inflammation in the body, which can do a number of things that are damaging internally to your body. But for the purposes of today, we're going to focus on breathing. It calms your reactive mind. Your reactive mind is your reptilian part of your brain. It's the fight and flight mechanism. It's, is there a bear chasing me? Or am I worried about zombies because I just watched a zombie movie? Whether your brain knows that something is truly actually causing you harm or actually creating danger, it's there to keep you safe. And so what happens when you trigger that actual responsive reactive brain, your body doesn't know the difference. You start producing chemicals so that you can run away, so that you can flee, so that you can see a little bit better and clearer, you can respond a little bit faster to that perceived threat. So breathing actually forces that reactive brain to halt and focus on what is actually occurring, and then you can actually logically start to kind of deduce, am I under a threat or am I just fine? It's no longer focusing on what is really happening around you. It's literally giving you trigger after trigger after trigger to run away or flee or prepare to fight. So what you can do is actually force it to refocus and kind of recalibrate into, is this a situation in which I am creating a stress? Am I safe? Am I watching something, or am I in an environment that is actually totally fine or causing a trigger? What's actually occurring? But it can recalibrate that trigger. And number 3 is you actually have a forefront and a background mindset. So your brain can only really focus on 2 things at once really well. And what it's doing is an intermittent focus. So a lot of people think, I have an amazing skill. I can go ahead and do 2 things at once or multiple things at once. I can do lots of things and get everything done quickly. What's happening is your brain is actually sending synapse connections to interact quickly amongst those things, but you're only actually focusing on one of them at a time. So as a result, your forefront brain, for example, driving, listening to music. That would be your forefront would be driving. Your background brain would be listening to the music. Driving and talking to someone. Your background brain is actually listening to the conversation, whereas your foreground is still driving. Chewing gum and walking, doing any kind of activity and secondary activity at the same time. But what's happening is you're not focusing clearly on the one activity constantly. You are actually intermittently creating focus points. So you're focusing, and your brain is brilliant. Your brain can do it very, very quickly, and some people do it faster than others, but your brain is intermittently taking focus away from your primary and putting it on your secondary objective. What you do by breathing is it creates almost a vacuum, and it says, focus on this right now. And because you can focus, it starts to again calm the mind and calm the body at the same time. Diagram. This is something I do with my kids all the time. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and one of the things that happens undoubtedly throughout any given day is a confrontation with each other. And what we do is we go to the refrigerator, we have this wonderful diagram, and you literally are going to put your hand up. You can do this at work also without a diagram, but you're going to put your hand up and you're going to breathe up and then relax and breathe out as you go down. So for example, you're going to, if you're at work or in your car or anything like that, you put your hand up and you literally go, breathe in, breathe out. In, out. You want deep, calming breaths through the belly. Breathe in, and breathe out. Now, by the time you get through that five-finger set, your body is actually being calmed on a metaphysical level. The hormones, the chemicals that your body is releasing are telling your body, we're fine. We're not in a reactive state. Everything around us is fine. We can logically now decide whether there is an actual threat, whether we're in a safe environment and we have a perceived threat but that is illogical, whether or not we're getting stress or anxiety from someone else that's around us or the environment as a whole. But now we can logically deduce the situation and then make changes quickly, adapt to the environment because we've calmed our body down. Hormone release for either one. So this is a fun trick technique where, again, you're just going to use your hand. You can do it anywhere. And what you're going to do is you're going to start with your thumb and end with your pinky. These are trigger points in your body. Do use your right hand. From where you're sitting, it looks like my left, but use your right hand to actually hold up. Then take your left hand and just squeeze. Squeeze that thumb until you feel it pulse. What you're doing is you're telling the body this particular area needs circulation. And so you're just going to hold it for a couple seconds. And when you start to feel your actual pulse, I feel it now, then release. You can breathe during it too. And hold usually between about 5 seconds to 15 seconds. And you start to feel your pulse, you can release. And as you do this, you're sending a response, a triggered response from your actual hand to your brain through the nerve endings saying you need circulation. What circulation will do is multiple things. It'll send oxygen through your body, which actually helps relax you and calm you down. It'll help focus that brain area again. And then it will also help take the anxiety out of the moment. So you are literally recalibrating the moment into a focus point where you take control of how you feel. And then the pinky. So these areas are all triggered in different areas of your body. We can get into that in another video. But this technique works really, really well. Try it and see if it works better. Some of these might work better depending on the circumstance, or you might find that one technique works really well for you. I want to go ahead and stimulate the circulation and flow in my body to help me calm down now so I don't have to pass out, hyperventilate, have a horrible anxiety attack, anything like that. It's literally a circulatory breathing process. So you're going to, if you like to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to close your eyes, but you're going to, I like to close my eyes. You're going to take a deep inhale from the belly, as deep as you can. You're going to imagine your spine. So think of your spine, breathing deeply from your spine all the way up as you inhale to the top of your head, and then exhaling and coming down in a nice relaxing state, almost like you have this nice flow of water going all around your body. So now, as you reach the top of your head, you're going to pause and count to 5. And you're going to do this 3 times in a row. You're going to count to 5 the first time. You're going to count to 10 the second time. And you're going to count to 15 the third time. And what this is doing, that stalling point is telling your vagus nerve to go ahead and start to quantify how much oxygen is in the body versus how much carbon dioxide in the body. And then it's going to say, okay, we need to focus on the circulation so we get that oxygen moving again. So and again. I've just done 3 times in a row. I got to 15, and I do literally feel much more relaxed and calm even making this video. So I'd like you to try that. Again, the first time, breathing from your spine, imagine it going up to your head and then counting to 5, and then relaxing that energy back down into basically into the front of your spine and going back through like a large oval, kind of wrapping around your body. Count to 10 the second time, relax, breathe out, count to 15 as you pause on your head, and then breathe out again. Now again, the third one is literally my favorite. If you've never heard of it, is basically a part of your sympathetic nervous system. So your primary nervous system, if you bump your elbow and you hurt your funny bone, or your not funny bone as I call it, or you slam a finger in the door, that's your primary nervous system reacting to that stimuli. But your sympathetic nervous system is basically reacting internally in your body. So everything that you don't necessarily are aware of what's going on, that's what it's helping with. So inside your body, your sympathetic nervous system does quite a few things, but for the purpose of this actual video, we're going to focus basically on the chemical receptors that it helps. So it basically monitors the amount of oxygen in your blood versus the amount of chemicals in your blood. And when you're doing breathing techniques, you are creating a controlled environment of oxygen, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. So what's happening is your sympathetic nervous system starts to trigger, your vagus nerve starts to trigger, and you start to be able to control how the flow works with that vagus nervous system by default. So your vagus nerve is going to start to become triggered. It's going to become reactionary because it's going to say, wait, you're holding your breath. Now we have a limited amount of oxygen that we're receiving into our body. We want to make sure that we start to push out flow or circulation into our body. And by default, that circulation actually helps relax you. So what happens when you're holding your breath, and I'm not suggesting holding your breath in general. You want to hold your breath in a controlled format that actually creates the reactive state, or a non-reactionary state, and a stress-free state. So just holding your breath is, if you've ever seen a kid try to hold their breath for a long period of time, or let's say you have been in an environment that caused so much anxiety that you accidentally started holding your breath. I've unfortunately been prone to this myself. Those of us who suffer from anxiety or chronic stress and chronic anxiety, sometimes you don't notice when your breathing becomes shallow, or you start to hold your breath, and what happens is your body is going to take over. And so usually what happens is you pass out cold, and that stimulates your body to, okay, we need more flow, we need more energy to circulate this system. We're just going to knock this out because we don't know what's happening up here, and we're going to take over. But you can take control before your body takes control, which is also really good for you because nobody likes passing out on the floor. I can speak from experience. I would love to hear from you. I really, really would like to hear, A, if you tried it, B, which one worked the best for you, and C, if you have any breathing techniques that you may have heard of that work well for you, share them down below. I would love this to be sort of a community in which we can share ideas with each other. Definitely subscribe and ring that bell so that you know when new videos come out, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.